Connor, Evan, and Tiki. What's going on, my man?
Nothing much, guys. How are you?
Excellent.
We're doing fantastic. So much is being made about the Jaxson Dart package from last weekend. And we had clarity. I think it's just if Russell was hurt, then Jaxson Dart had things he was comfortable with. That's the package. And it was an intentional, obscuring of preparation for the Commanders. What's your take on it?
No, I think there was honestly, T, I think there was a legitimate situation where the Giants would have mixed him in there. I mean, they love his athleticism, love his running ability, love his arm. I mean, we saw it in the preseason when they brought him in for the screen pass to Theo Johnson just to kind of throw people off. And Brian Daboll told us today that they've been doing that in practice, where with the first team, they'll take Russell Wilson out and they'll throw Jaxson Dart in and give him a handful of reps there with the ones. So I think we would have seen it if Russell Wilson wasn't playing as poorly as he was. You know what I mean? I think there was some understand. I mean, look, say what you will, and you can criticize Brian Daboll in a number of ways. He's a very smart guy when it comes to football sense, and I think he foresaw Russell Wilson being, 17 of 40, 17 of 37, them throwing Jaxson Dart in for 3 plays and completing 3 passes, going back to Russell Wilson, and now suddenly you have a real you-know-what storm on your hands.
Right.
So I think if Russell was playing better, you would have seen Dart, but because Russell was struggling so much, they were just trying to find some kind of rhythm, and you're not going to find that taking your starting quarterback out.
So regardless of the intent, how is Russell Wilson taking this, you think? And obviously, I'm after the game, I was doing pre and post, and I heard his post-game comments. He basically said that wasn't the plan. So what is the plan?
Well, Russell Wilson right now is the starting quarterback, and I think that everything that how do I word this? Russell Wilson says all the right things as it pertains to his confidence. And if you read what Russell Wilson says, you would think he's the most confident person to ever walk the face of the earth. Usually when people go out of their way that much to stress how confident they are, there's probably some lack of confidence internally that you're trying to battle, and you're just saying it out loud over and over and over again so you can be like, manifest it, baby, let's go.
Right.
That's kind of how I take it sometimes when Russell Wilson speaks. I don't know how authentic or genuine all of his comments are all the time, to be completely honest with you guys, and that comes off quite a bit here when they just get their teeth kicked in offensively, and I know they can rally around, it was 14-6, 14-6. Tiki, you watched the game. Yep. I watched the game back. Evan, you watched the game. That was not a close football game.
No.
That offense could not do anything. They couldn't do anything. So when you do that, and then your tweet after the game is mentally tough, period. It's an act. To me, it's just an act.
What I'm still confused by, and it leads me to believe Brian Daboll is going to pull the plug soon, was that after the game, instead of saying Russ is my quarterback, he opened the door slightly, or as Tiki said it, he didn't slam the door. Mm-hmm. Now, the next day, he said Russ is my guy, but Daboll's been around here for a while now. He knows what happens when you answer questions a certain way. Why do you think he didn't slam the door right after the game on a quick quarterback change?
Because I don't think that he was completely certain that he was going to start Russell Wilson week 2. I mean, you said it, Evan. This isn't Daboll's first year. He's not coming from Jacksonville or compare it to Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh's first couple years with the Jets, first time in a major media market, there were some slips of the tongue. Yes. You know what I mean? And I think he had to learn that if you don't say the right thing, there's 20 media members standing in front of you that are going to catch you. You can't just let something fly by like you could in San Fran or Jacksonville. Daboll's been around enough. He understands how this game works. So when he's pressed, and I wasn't there, I covered the Jets game, but when Jordan Rodon is pressing him and saying, is Russ your starting quarterback, and he's saying, I have confidence in Russell Wilson, he knows exactly what he's doing. He 100% knows exactly what he's doing. Now, to spend all off season, guys, saying, Russ is our guy, Russ is our guy, Russ is our guy, Russ is our guy, Russ is our starting quarterback, all that stuff, and then bench him after 1 week, I mean, what that would say about the message and your plan, I mean, it would be just such egg on the face of everybody over at the Giants. It always made sense to start Russell Wilson in week 2. But, guys, if they're down 2 or 3 scores going in at half, you really think that Brian Daboll, who is shown to make impulsive decisions on the field in game day, you really don't think Jaxson Dart's running out for the third quarter? Do you think they're going to keep running this one into the ground? I would be stunned. I would be stunned if that was the case.
Yeah, I would be as well. Any update on Andrew Thomas? I know he's not playing or practicing, I should say, today. That's part of the plan, as Dave said, and he should practice tomorrow and Friday. But What about his availability? And if he's not available this week and then it leads into next week, shouldn't they have just put him on the short-term IR?
Right, yeah, you can make that argument, absolutely. I mean, it's like they have the concepts of a plan with this guy where it's like they had the surgery, and then all of a sudden there's like the screw that needs to come out, as Dan Duggan reported. I mean, there's just like there's such questions with this guy. And Tiki, like it's hard to just miss all of camp, not get a full week of practice in team drills, and then be in football shape to go
right
perform like the Giants need him to perform at left tackle. So I don't know if this is the week we're going to see Andrew Thomas. I kind of feel like week 3 is more likely where it's going to happen. But it's the whole handling of this injury situation. You just get the sense that it feels like it was botched a little bit.
Yeah, like, did they kind of know going into camp or even before that, hey, this may take some time? Or was this something that maybe they figured out over the last few weeks that, hey, he may not be ready for the first 2 weeks of the season?
No, I think once he had that second procedure to remove the screw, that's when they knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then once that happened, that's when they were aware. They understood what they were looking at.
Yeah, another injury on the defensive side. Micah McFadden looks like he's going to be out for a significant amount of time. We don't really know because we haven't got much details. Maybe you can provide some there. But Darius Muasau has to now step in. Any indication? I mean, it's a step down, but is he ready for that role? Because Micah McFadden was turned into a really good read and react type linebacker, and I think it was important for them. What's the prognosis now with that second level?
Yeah, well, Mike is going to need surgery, so I would be surprised if he plays again this year.
Wow,
and it is a bummer. I mean, because he is I don't think he's one of the 10 best linebackers in the NFL, one of the 5 best linebackers in the NFL, but he's a starting NFL player, and he's a good player. And you need those guys. You can't have a team of all pros. Like, you need just good football players, and that's what Micah is. We're going to see real quick here with Darius. Now, Joe Shane is somebody who loves his draft picks. This is the guy that he drafted. He played some as a rookie, was up there in snaps. Now he's got a chance to play, though. Now he's got a chance to show it, and I think they're probably going to have to shade some stuff his way when it comes to coverage. I'm a little concerned about that. But it's baptism by fire, Tiki, because I don't think they have much behind him, if not him.
We're talking to Connor Hughes, who's at Giant Camp today. We'll get to the Jets in a few minutes. So most of training camp, we heard about the vibes. The vibes are great. Everything has changed at Giant Camp. Last week at this time, the vibes were coming through the radio. Giant fans were believing. Yeah. Have the vibes gone backwards to pre-vibe greatness this week over at Giant practice?
And that is what surprised me more than anything else with the Giants this offseason. I mean, this is a team that defensively, the additions they made on defense I thought were great. Like, I like Paulson Adebo. I like the fact, honestly, they're starting Cordell Flott, not just handing everything to Banks, Abdul Carter. Like, the defense, I think, has a legitimate possibility to be a top 10, top 12 unit if they got anything from offense. But this was, we all have eyes. We watched the Giants last year. This was one of the worst offenses, if not the worst offense in the NFL a season ago. They brought back 10 of their 11 starters on offense, with the only addition being Russell Wilson, who is no longer good. Like, Wilson hasn't been good for 4 years, guys. Like, the Steelers, who are one of the most stable organizations, gave up on him. The Broncos and Sean Payton gave up on him. Like he's not the Russell Wilson of old. So to know that and to see that and just be like, oh, Russell Wilson's going to fix everything, and then have this confidence, have this bravado, go into the season with borderline cockiness, it almost makes the loss to Washington feel like 10 losses, not 1. And you can compare it to the other side with the Jets. They were like, look, we hope we've got a quarterback, Justin Fields, but we'll see. Aaron Glenn, Aaron Glenn's not talking about playoffs, making a run. Aaron Glenn's talking, we're going to be a tough team. We want to be a team you can be proud of. We're going to fight hard. Like, the Jets lost the game, a heartbreaker, but you kind of still feel a little confident about it. The Giants, it's like, oh, here we go again. And I think it's because of how they boasted themselves up. I think it's how they stuck out their chest when I don't necessarily know if there was justification to stick out your chest based off what we saw a year ago. Again, this team won 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, they won 3 games a year ago. This wasn't a 7-win team, 6-win team that's some bad injury luck. They won 3 games.
No.
So that surprised me. But vibe-wise, being in the locker room today, no guys are hanging their heads, but I think you're running the risk of some really, really bad stuff if you lose to the Cowboys, or this isn't at least close against the Cowboys, because it has a chance to really, really snowball.
You know, an interesting way to look at this, Connor, was the vibes were positive because either Russell Wilson was going to have something left in the tank and give it to you for 5, 6, 3, 2, whatever, many games, and he's going to win, which he was brought here to do. And if not, you would turn to the rookie in Jaxson Dart. Or maybe even Jameis Winston, but probably Jaxson Dart, since he was named the second-string quarterback. And as Dave said earlier last week, he earned being the second-string quarterback. But I said this on Monday, and I think I'm right here. Dave's is in a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, it's on me. He waited way too long to make a move with Daniel Jones, and we all know how that affected the perception of him. Not the reality, but the perception of him. I don't think he can wait 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks if Russell Wilson doesn't have it, as you just said.
If they lose 31-13 or 28-10, and the offense again is terrible, and the only score comes in garbage time, and then they've got a primetime game coming up against the Chiefs, what do you think that – you already saw planes – I mean, weather was the only thing that kept planes away from MetLife Stadium a year ago. Like, there were ready to be planes every home game for the final month of the season. I just – if Russell doesn't show it here against the Cowboy defense that looked very, very susceptible a week ago against the Philadelphia Eagles in prime time, and they can't get out of their own way, and they can't run block, and they can't pass block, and guys are getting blown up, I don't know how you stick with Russell again. I don't know. Because, again, this isn't – we're not looking at this as, it's just 2 bad games for Russell Wilson. He was bad for 2 years with the Broncos, and he had a little bit of a renaissance a bit with the Steelers, but ultimately, things crashed and burned with Pittsburgh towards the end of the year. So I think you know what he is at this point. And he's another year older. The athleticism is clearly waned even from where it was a season ago, where it just makes so much more sense to be like, we got to go to the rookie. We need a jolt. This isn't working. Let's go to Jackson and let's ride this one through.
On the other side, I thought it was really important, very important, no offense to Xavier and his family, it was important to cut him. I thought Aaron Glenn needed to back up his strong words of, if you're not helping the team win, if you're hurting us, you're not going to be on the field. This guy probably shouldn't have made the team to begin with, but I think, and tell me if you agree, I think symbolically, to back up his strong words, he needed to cut Xavier Gibson, and I thought it was important that he get it done, and he did.
Yeah. I was kind of on the fence with this, to be honest with you. I thought he could have just benched him. I didn't know if he needed to be cut, per se, but it sends a message. I mean, it puts everybody on notice. It says that, hey, look, this is a new day and age. I'm very curious what's going to happen. He's not getting cut. I don't want to put any of this out there, but I'm curious if Quincy Williams doesn't play the first series on Sunday against the Bills because of the penalty, or if John Simpson, I don't know what they're going to do there, because the fumble was bad. Those 2 penalties were just as bad. Quincy Williams extended a drive, which led to a touchdown. John Simpson eliminated any chance for the Jets to get points before the half. I'm kind of fascinated to see what happens there, but it's clear there's a new sheriff in town, and Aaron Glenn isn't going to take any BS from anybody, and this was a very, very, very clear message and sign that's how it's going to be.
Maybe I'm nuts because I love football. It's the one sport I never even tried to play because I am very weak and I would have been physically destroyed if I tried. But as just a simpleton, I didn't mind the John Simpson penalty because he was standing up for his quarterback. So while, yes, it was damaging in terms of trying to drive for a field goal at the end of the first half, I actually disagreed with the coach. I was like, you know what? I don't mind that penalty.
Right.
I agree. So I'm in the boat with you. Well, I was basically just saying what Glenn had said, it clearly ticked him off. I mean, Brian, I didn't see this. Brian Costello pointed this out to me. Right after that penalty, Aaron Glenn was making a motion, almost saying, take John Simpson off the field right now. Take John Simpson off the field right now. And it was well, you realize if he comes off, Xavier Newman's coming on, right? That's the other option here. Why don't we cool it down? And ultimately, Simpson never came off the field until he got hurt for 3 plays or something like that. So I don't get the sense that this is just all talk. Glenn's not messing around when he says he's getting sick and tired of this stuff. But I think this is what's really going to test it is the 2 players that committed penalties. It's not like it's Michael Clemens and Tony Adams. It's 2 pretty notable guys. So I'm curious what will happen, if anything will happen again, I don't think they're getting benched, but if they have to sit a series or something like that.
Right. Connor, we did not get over to Jet Camp this year, even though I live in Florham Park. I didn't see them at all. And it was interesting leading into the season. I didn't have a sense of what particularly the offense would look like and what Justin Fields would be about. There was kind of nothing in the preseason, as we all saw, but you were there pretty frequently, and I was pleasantly surprised at not only his playmaking ability, but his QB IQ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the touchdown where he brought in the two tight ends, put him max protection. He knew he had man coverage behind him. He called for the crossers, and he got the big throw to Garrett Wilson. I haven't seen Justin Fields do much of that in his entire career. Maybe a couple of those games in Chicago, but I mean, you have to be impressed with Justin Fields in week 1.
You were pleasantly surprised. I was stunned. I'm stunned. I was I split time between Jets and Giants, but I'd say I probably spent 60% of the practices at the Jets. And when I wasn't there, I talked to everybody that was and read the reports on what happened. Fields wasn't good.
Yeah.
There were good throws. There were good moments, but he was not good. I mean, accuracy problems, rushing, in terms of rushing through things, bad reads, turnovers. I said this going into the season. I had no greater concern for the Jets than Justin Fields. And I thought he was going to be able to run around and be an athlete, and he'd really find some success that the Jets could run the ball. And we're looking at a lot of 2nd and 2s or 3rd and 1s, and you could just let him be an athlete. But if he had to play quarterback, I really thought the Jets were screwed. I did. That's right. Based off of what my eyes showed. That's how bad it was, guys. And then he gets to the game, and he was remarkable. He was stellar. And it's like you said, Tiki, he was moving around within the pocket, not being an athlete going one read and run. He's moving around within the pocket, buying time, keeping his eyes down the field so his receivers can get open and then making throws. The pass over the middle of Tyler Johnson, the one to Jeremy Ruckert, the one to Josh Reynolds. These are top-tier plays.
Right.
And I know it's just 1 week, and the Steelers really didn't play anybody in the preseason. You want to see it now against the Bills and things like that. But I don't know how you leave that opener not feeling wildly optimistic and very hopeful about what you might have with this guy, because look, maybe he's just a gamer and not a practice player. There are plenty of players like that. He was unbelievable. Yeah. It blew me away how he played. I really was impressed with him.
You talking about practice?
Yeah.
I think the other pleasant surprise was Armand Membu, who had a ridiculous PFF grade. Now, look, part of this is because they ran the ball so effectively. More than half of their offensive plays were in the run game, and in their zone scheme, it helps offensive linemen because you're automatically moving at the snap of the ball. But he played great, and the run game was fantastic. Breece Hall's day was as about perfect as you could have to open a season as well.
Yeah, I mean, that right side of the line was another concern because you had to have Joe Tippmann kick to the right, Josh Myers, who didn't have a very good camp or preseason, step in at center, and then Membu's a rookie. I think Membu could be a very good player. Just how good is he going to be as a rookie was a question mark, because Will McDonald kind of beat him up a little bit throughout the summer, and maybe that's just because, look, Will McDonald had 2 sacks. Maybe he's just a guy who's going to beat up everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that line, that right side of the line, allowed 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, and just 1 quarterback hurry, and it was Josh Myers. That's it. That right side of the line was tremendous. Now, they dealt with some issues. T.J. Watt, just being who T.J. Watt is, got past Membu for run stops. Not pass blocking, but for run stops, he was able to get in there and make some plays. But if this is the line the Jets have, I mean, they're going to push every bit to win 7, 8, 9 games this year. I mean, and if Fields plays the rest of the season like he did in the opener, there's no reason they can't get to 9 wins, if not more. I mean, that was – you saw – they got to fix up the defense. There's some problems there with the personnel. But offensively, you saw a grouping that can work and you can win with, not in spite of. And I don't know the last time I could say that about the Jets offense.
No, it was like watching a different sport. I mean, that's basically watching the Jet offense on Sunday. The thing that concerns me is, and this is where I was very mixed on Monday and Sunday night, I was pleased at the improvement, but they lost. And they lost the game they should have won. And now they're going to play the Buffalo Bills, who, yes, they play very tough at MetLife Stadium, but they're a touchdown underdog. And then they're going to go to Tampa, who's very well coached, and they're going to be a touchdown underdog. And I know things can change once the schedule softens, but I'm still looking at 0-3 right down the barrel. So despite the improvements, it's only a 17-game season. I need some victories, Connor.
Yeah, that's right. I wish I could talk you off the ledge. I do, and I don't mean to keep dumping this on there, but I know Josh Allen historically has not played well against the Jets. Josh Allen hasn't historically played well against Robert Saleh. When you look at how Josh Allen did against the Detroit Lions and Aaron Glenn, I think it's something like 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. The last time he played, he threw for like 370 or 365 yards. Like, Josh Allen did Josh Allen things against Detroit. It was just Robert Saleh that he struggled a lot against. There's a chance they're sitting at 0-3. There's a chance they're in a hole, but the schedule does lighten up there, Evan, and I think that's what you look at big picture, and you do like their chances against some of these other teams they're going to face. I mean, Miami, you love them against them. The Patriot game, New England didn't look like this juggernaut. I didn't think they were ever going to be a juggernaut. I shouldn't say that.
Right.
But they didn't look like this team that was so unbelievably improved that they're going to go win double-digit games this year. Those 2 games are absolutely winnable. So it's one of those things where, yeah, they might lose to Buffalo. Yeah, they might lose to Tampa. When you look back on it, I mean, if those losses came in week 12, week 7, and week 4, you'd be like, okay, yeah, well, we thought we were going to lose those games anyway. You got to focus on the positives. Look, you guys, Evan, you know me, I've covered this team forever. I'm not an overly positive person when it comes to this team. I think there's a lot of things to be positive about with them right now. Again, defense, you got to fix up. There's personnel problems there, but offense, there's a lot going right for this team, especially the vibes are awful high for the right reasons. And I think you can survive a little bit of a slow start if it's 0-3 there. 0-4, no. 0-4, no.
No, dude, they cannot lose to the Dolphins. That'd be a problem, to say the least. Connor, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for popping on.
Thank you, bro.
No problem, guys. Thank you so much.